Welcome to another episode of the Infinite Star Connections. We are your hosts, Jeff Demers and myself, Viviane Chauvet. Thank you for joining us at a very special time today for a 1 hour, what we call Q&A with the host. Ask us anything positive. And so we're welcoming everyone who's joining us right now. Thank you for taking the time to be with us, even though we are broadcasting live at a different time this time around. But Jeff is back. Yay! Welcome back, my friend.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, so you're feeling better?
Much better. Yep.
Yes, so good news, everyone. Jeff is feeling better. We're back together, and just for today, it will be an hour special of Q&A with the host, and of course, we're going to have an amazing episode coming up on the 28th, which I will share with you right before the end. And we have an amazing guest coming up on the 28th. But for today, let me take the time to say hello to Demi. Bonjour, Demi. Leslie, good to have you. Sandy, Nelly, thank you for having here to be here from Bulgaria. Tanya from Brazil, a pleasure to have you. Shona, thank you for being here. Oh, Simon, this is you from Glastonbury. I said Leslie, but it's Simon. Thank you for always being there, Simon. We appreciate you. Denise, thank you for being here. Gratitude to you, my friend. Kathy, you are among the first one to join, so hello to you. And of course, our beautiful friend, our deep gifted friend David, who will be our guest on the 28th. So I'll talk about it later. But for today, I just want to acknowledge all of you who are joining us, and like Karen, Barbara from Canada, and Star Orchid, and Lumina. Thank you for being here. An ocean of love and light to you as well. So, we are very grateful for our very unique audience here on the Infinite Star Connections. And thank you for being here. Jeff, there's something that's been on my mind, and I've been getting emails, sometimes questions about your unique intergalactic group, the ones who you are part of, you're a star seed, you're an emissary for. There's known as the Ponti. Sometimes there's a misconception that the Pontis are part of the same group as the Greys. Can you share about the difference between the Ponti or the Mizani? Is that the way you say it, Mizani?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we call them the Ponte here because it was an interpretation of what they were trying to say. So that word kind of stuck. But they are called the Mizani, and they've been around a long time. Um, they they're from uh, the ones that I communicate with. They're from the Pleiades area around the star of Merope. That's the majority of them. They are not grays. I mean, you can call them grays, you can call them pinks, you can call them yellows. It doesn't matter. They are still a bipedal type of extraterrestrial. um, One of the misconceptions is that they're like a 3D, a touchy feely, and that is not the case. They are of a different realm, and they will appear to you in the form that you are most comfortable seeing them in. When I look at Jerudi, I mean, it's what I want her to be like. Okay, I mean, to you, she might look a little different. It's just the way energy is flowing to another form of energy. Okay. Whereas like the Umo, they are a touchy feely um, body like us, a higher type of being. So those guys, they are an extraterrestrial, the Umo. Okay, but the Ponti, they are a multi-dimensional being. Okay, so they're not even from this dimension. Okay, Um, they just appear to you as that. Now I've seen them, I don't know, 50 to 100 times. And like I said, when they appear to me, they look like I can see through them, but I can't. They're about 4.5 feet tall. They don't talk, but they throw me images, and on the strength of those images, I get what they're trying to say. And they are telepathic. I don't know if we can share a telepathic conversation with them. Um, Maybe, but my experience is that they would they would show me images, and then I have to decipher what that is, and of course, then we would. That's how our conversations are now with the UMO. Which they're still on a fence with that because I don't know if a Earth human, can telepathically communicate with another race. That is still like that's kind of way out there. What I do know is that there is a shared conscience of ideas or information, and that's what happens with me and the UMO. I mean, when they want to communicate, there's a yellow light, and that might mean something. I have no idea. And then there's dialogue that happens, but it's like in a dream state. Okay, but those two, that's the difference between them both. I'm fortunate to experience both types, and but the Ponti are not from Zeta Reticuli.
Hmm.
I mean, maybe one might be, but the majority that I communicate with, they're not, and they're not grays either. So
Okay. And thank you for the clarification because sometimes when we look at the UFO field and talking to look at description of star beings, oftentimes the mind will apply a standard description that seems to fit the bill, and then the mind will project that to what has
yeah,
been
I mean,
familiar.
yeah, whatever. I mean, it is what you are comfortable with. Mainstream media does a lot of that predictive programming, so that us in the U.S. we always think of ETs as little tiny grays, but most of the time in the rest of the world, they don't know what the hell a little gray is. You know, most of the time they're like us. They're human. They walk, they talk, and stuff. But for the U.S., it's the little grays, and I think that's part of that predictive programming from the 50s.
It really is, and I would say with the Roswell crash in 1947, it feels like the grays have been ingrained into the subconscious field, and you're right, especially here in America. So when you talk about your group more in coming from the Pleiades and a specific planet, and they're very distinctive in who they are. It doesn't matter if they seems to be the same height or body structures or any image. They're
It's
really a
insignificant.
distinct group, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's insignificant. The size, shape. They all have different personalities, which is interesting because I did not know that you could have personality differences in another realm. I thought it would be like, just one bland blah ET. It's part of another bland blah bunch of ETs.
Yeah,
But
no.
but they do have humor and stuff, so that seems to be something that is starting to be uncovered pretty quickly.
Mm. That's interesting. And so when you said that, how the group, the Ponties, as we know them, communicate with you, they send you image,
Images, yeah,
energy. They send you energy.
yeah.
So how do you know what that energy means
By feeling and intention.
to
Now
you?
I do have a recording of Tilcum saying that I was here now, but it
Mm.
was a whisper, and that was taken in my uh, uh, music room, and my dog was sleeping on the couch at the time, and it was a camera was up in the corner. It was a Godzilla type camera, which
Mm.
they're no more. Okay, But I mean, these cameras were badass. I mean, you could it would pick up motion, it would pick up sound, and I had it on the highest settings, of course. And I mean, if it was me going up there and saying I was here now, I would have woke the dog up.
Yes.
Okay, and you, and I don't think anybody's that skilled that they could implant I was here now inside of a rolling camera. I mean, you probably could, but I don't have that equipment here. And me, and my buddy down in Florida, we scrutinized that thing back and forth, up and down, before we told anybody about it, because we knew they're going to say, "Oh, that's all fake. That's all fake," and
Mm.
it was not. It's just a quick, "I was here now," and I was like, "What the hell?" But they told me that they were going to do that the night before, so I had all the cameras ready to rock. So
Uh, that's interesting because they told you, they let you know, hey, I'm going to communicate with you. And they've always done that with you anyway. They've always been engaged with you. And I know because sometimes they come, I mean, your group comes into our house and, they will alert the cats, or they will, there's, gentle little steps we can hear. And how do we know it's them? Because there's a very distinct vibrational presence to them they want me to know that
oh
this
yeah.
is who they are and that we're here interacting with you. And they do something similar with you, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, I can actually see them walking. It's like a wisp, like a tall gray wisp, and I see them just like going back, and they stop in front of the TV all the time, especially when I'm watching hockey or something. I'm like, guys, move! Why? There, you go anywhere you want in the house. I don't care. But I see them, and even including the dog sees them, and my friends that come over, when they come over, if they come over again, when they see them, they're they're freaked out. So
Well, it depends how ready you are, but how do they appear to you, Jeff? The Ponties.
well, when Sarah wants to talk to me, she'll appear in front of me, and she'll be shimmering, of course, and she likes yellow, and
Hmm.
she looks just like the way that Lavinia did her. I mean, just like that. Maybe that's the way that I want to see her as. So she comes to me that way, and then there's a transference of and when they start, I mean, I could be sleeping, but they'll wake you up, and it's like, okay, I have to tell you this, and she'll explain to me certain things about them and us or whatever, and they won't let you go to sleep till they're done. Okay, and then she just goes.
Love it. I love it. So let's begin with the first question. I think it's going to be interweaving very well with your experience, Jeff. Michelle is asking, how can we activate our third eye? So I'm going to let you take that over.
No, you better answer that one, because I don't know how to do that, except maybe an accident or something. But you probably gonna be better off answering that one. I don't know how to activate it.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Your mind would tell you that you don't know, but it's more than that. When Geraldine of one of your interdimensional team comes to you and they transfer that color or that energy, then how do you know? How do you make the decoding? It must be opening your third eye to a certain degree.
Maybe it's open all the time, but it 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 I when they come here, it is a feeling like somebody's standing next to you, that type of feeling, and then it's like, I know who this is now. And then when I open my eyes, there they are. You know, they don't scare me. This is their house too, and they definitely use it.
Mm. Yes,
But
they
as far as
know.
the third eye, or like meditation, I can start meditating instantly. I don't have to do the breathing exercises, because I'm just that well developed that I don't need to get in the space, because I can get into it quickly.
Right.
And I think that also helps too.
It does. And you said a keyword. So to answer Michelle's question, Jeff said something important. There is no fear. And so, oftentimes, fear will create a veil on top of your senses, including the third eye. And the third eye is naturally part of who you are, it's part of your chakra system. And I know the more you allow yourself to release the anxiety or the anxiousness in your field, and you start to get much more in centeredness with yourself, you can consciously feel the opening to your third eye. You can also use the occipital chakra as a conduit to open the third eye. But it has to be done with receptivity, patience, centeredness, no fear. And if you're really allowing your third eye to open, but you tell yourself, it doesn't work. I try, but it doesn't happen for me. And then the mind get caught up with that. It simply means that you're stuck in mental construct, in mental loops. And it's nothing to do with your mental loops or your belief systems. It's just reclaim it as a natural function within yourself. It is as natural as the air that you breathe. It really is. So start to more condition yourself to, I remember the energy of my third eyes. I remember how natural it is to open my third eye. I am ready and there's no fear. You have to be receptive to what you bring. Like Jeff with his interactions with his group, the Ponte, well, there's no fear in his energy. So that connection can be open, fluid, because he's receptive. So that will be just some ways to express that. And thank you for asking, Michelle. Tanya is asking you directly, Jeff. Could you please spell the name of your ET group?
Oh, Mazini.
Can you repeat that again?
Mazini.
Good.
Mizani.
Mizani. But we also say the word Ponte, though. How would you spell Ponte?
That would be just like a capital P apostrophe NTI.
Okay.
It is my belief that when they approached Sue Walker with that, they were speaking Mizani so fast, she just picked up Ponte. And they don't care about names anyway. They were just glad to make a connection with her. So that's how that name really got started.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you
Yeah, because
made
she
a
kept saying it
distinction.
took them slow down, slow down, slow down. You know, they were
Yeah.
just like so elated that somebody's listening to them that they just, wow.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for that, Jeff. I want to say a big hello to my dear friend who I've known for a number of years now, Jeanette. Jeanette, it's really good to see you today. And just so there's a questions is addressed more to me in terms of whenever you are going through a life situations, like in the sense of, well, let's say, moving from one home to another, and there's some medical issues or blockages going into the way. Um, And of course, we want to send you support, energy, healing light, lots of love to you, Jeanette, in terms of, to really help to open the space for you and to be able to allow to return that space of healing, empowerment. Remember your light, remember you're a powerful being. I wonder if the energy of the space, I'm going to invite you, Janet, right now to come with me and the Arcturians, the Mizani, presence of Jeff, your higher self, the beings of light, the masters of light. And imagine through your higher self, your divine self, looking at this new home that you are want to move in, clearing the space. I feel like the clutter needs to take place within yourself. I feel like this energy reflecting into the physical environment is reflective of what you've been enduring for many years of medical issues, distortion, unbalance, and to feel it within yourself. I really feel that you have reached a point, there's a huge anchor from your past history that needs to be clear, resolved, and released yourself from any form of known and unknown attachments. And I imagine as your body clear, your lungs start to breathe the reflection into your home. After time when we carry clutter within ourselves, and it's been years that moving through that clutter that is just into medical issues and distortion and emotional heaviness and all of this, oftentimes the physical environment will reflect that. So I wanted to say, is it really about the house, or is it about that reflection of a paradigm coming back to you as a hologram to says, can you allow yourself to resolve this old paradigm? And I know you personally, Jeanette, so I know that it's very much in sync. So just to feel the energy, and I'm glad that you still see ships around you, of course, communicating with you. And in case, and this is true for everyone, in case when you see an object in the sky, whether it's seemingly a ship, a disk, a presence, a movement, the first thing we always recommend, use the protocol, ask, is this energy I'm looking at, colors, presence, sensation, is this of the highest light? Are you of the highest light? Is it serving the highest light in the greatest good? Ask right away. This way you can know that what you're looking at or interacting with is really much in honor in the same energy field, that you're still on the same page. Instead of just going, oh, I saw this craft or this light, what does it mean? Well, ask, what does this energy really represent for me? Are you here for the highest good? Are you here in the presence of the highest light? I always use my protocol, even who I am. They know I'm very sharp with it. So remember that energy. So thank you for asking, Jeanette. So I'm going to move to says, Elena asking, what our perspective about twin flame? What is your perspective about twin flame, Jeff?
I would think that a twin flame would be the same as a soulmate, maybe.
Okay, it's a little bit deeper than that.
Well, I haven't met my soul flame yet, so I
Well,
don't know.
yeah, here, okay. So here's our perspective to this, Elena. Thank you for asking. So we know that we are powerful beings of light, soul energy. And oftentimes we send out throughout the multiverse the different form of experience, those little fractals of ourselves, right? And within a lifetime, you may have different soulmates. You will have a multitude of soulmates. It doesn't have to be romantic. It doesn't have to be a spouse. It can be a soulmate through a sibling, a soulmate to a best friend, a soulmate to a different aspect. So these soulmates are aspect, and we come together and we play certain role, we help each other through life. And oftentimes, because of the 3D program, we are programmed to think about on a romantic level, we want our ultimate soulmate to come in. And that's a little bit of a manipulation of the heart. If you really want a partner in your life, you can ask, I am ready to welcome in my life and in my art my most compatible soulmate at this point of my journey. And I really opened the field. Now, the twin flame aspect, it is my understanding that the twin flame is simply, I'm going to use my crystal here. Imagine that I'm slicing into pieces this beautiful emerald crystal. And I would say, part number one will come in incarnation. I'm come here. I'm going to be on the planet. I'm reincarnating in the Pleiades. I'm reincarnating in Sirians. And I'm living a lifetime. The other part will remain in its authentic self. And usually it stay that way. And then interact with you, but it's still part of the same crystal. Sometimes these two aspects will take on physical form in the same lifetime, the same planet, the same time frame of life, and then sometime these two souls or these two fragments will return with each other, but you're still part of the same one crystal, the same one soul, so same one energy. It is not as, how could I say that, romantic and as it sounds, because usually when you are, if you are in the presence of your twin flame, it usually is challenging. It's not just pure bliss and you're walking on waters with each other, because you are the same part of the same soul. So you come to understand and learn, and usually it will create really much some challenges Sometimes it is truly blissful, but other times it's not. Well, that's very different from a soulmate, though. You can have a lot of affinity for someone or remembrance for someone due to your akashic field on of past lives or something that has really impacted you, and then you recognize someone in that field and you go, oh, this must be my soulmate. Well, maybe an aspect of it. It doesn't mean you're meant to be in this lifetime the same way you were hundreds of years ago. It doesn't mean you're going to repeat the same scenarios. That's the thing. Souls evolve, changes. That makes sense. Does that make
Interesting.
sense to you?
Uh, kind of. It's like cut from the same cloth, I
Yeah,
guess you could say.
it really, really is. So thank you for asking it, Anna. Brigitte has a most interesting question, and I want to know your perspective on this one, Jeff. Brigitte is saying, I would love to know about wisdom teeth, and should we actually get them removed? What is your take on the wisdom teeth?
My take on the wisdom teeth, that is, right now, yeah, you should take them out because they're unusable. And if you have them, I would take them out. They would just lead to pushing all the teeth in different directions of how we live today. But they're from a long, long time ago. Just like our tear duct on the corner of our eye is actually a lens that went across, but we've evolutionized that out, and that's the same thing with the wisdom teeth.
Well, again, every biological form on this planet is unique. So some people may go through all their life with a wisdom teeth. Some of them,
Right? Yeah.
I've seen that. And if you look at the next generations, look at your children, you look at the next generations, there has been a very specific genetic evolution around the teeth configuration, jaw, gum lines, whether it's the wisdom teeth. I've seen, for example, you know, younger people in the, let's say, 19, 20, 21, that the wisdom teeth always going to stay in the gums. They appear on the x-rays, but they will never come out. Or maybe one or two, but the way they're positioned, they change nothing. They block nothing. They create no conflict and no nothing. Now, I remember the time when I was in college, the wisdom teeth was creating a lot of issues for
Yeah,
the
same here. That's why I had mine taken out.
exactly. And I've seen instances where the wisdom teeth will be sideways in the gums or
Yeah.
pushing. So what I'm sensing is that it also depict and speak on a genetic evolution. I feel these wisdom teeth are reminiscent of a really old genetic or genome structures that is evolving. And chances are that the new generation coming through may no longer have those teeth at the same way that it was even 40, 20, 30, 40, 100 years ago.
Hmm.
We're seeing a very distinct evolution in the morphology, the biological field of the human beings. And I feel it's this old reminiscence that will no longer be a part of the new structures. And this is my take on it.
Yeah, I think that's close to the mark.
Yeah, thank you. Julie is asking, I wonder, do the ET sleep? What's your take on that, Jeff?
When she said ETs, I'm assuming she means like the Umo. Okay, Umo do need sleep. The Panti really don't need sleep. Um, I don't think they really sleep like we do because they are of a higher realm than we are. They meditate a lot. Maybe you call that sleeping, but they meditate in groups a lot. They make a noise when they do that. So they just want to get as close to the one as they possibly can. And maybe that is what you call sleep.
Well, it's a really good question in the sense that the sleep energy or the way you perceive sleep in this reality, it's something very different or how it's perceived. You have to look at what vibrational connection is that race or that being. Are they more ethereal? Are they more like energetic energy, if you're pure energy, there's no need to sleep. So
No.
here, physically, in the biological human experience, your physical form needs to rejuvenate. So you lay down in bed or on a couch or on a yoga mat, and then you sleep. But in reality, you're not the one sleeping. You're the one, your consciousness is traveling into a higher state.
Yeah.
It is your physical biological form that sleeps. So imagine yourself, if you put yourself in the shoes, so to speak, of other extraterrestrial or even interdimensional races. The concept of sleep is either non-existent or will completely change according to their needs. So, like you mentioned, a Humo who are closer or seems to be closer to the human race, they may have some same functionality. But if you ask a being like an Andromedan or an Arcturian, we look at you and go like, "What do you mean by sleep? Are you simply referring to a simply rejuvenation process we can do in a very quick process and the body is simply reattuned, or what do you mean?" So it really depends. The frame of reference
Hmm.
will change in meaning. And
Yeah.
we want to answer like this to open that field of awareness, to inspire you to understand when you ask a question, what is your perspective on the question to begin with? Just an invitation. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the human type of ET like us, we would require sleep, but I don't know of any other aliens that require sleep. You know.
Well, there's a lot of factors behind it, and it's not sleep in the same way that it is conceived here.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the question. We really do. It's really great to open that field. Clara is asking, can we ask for healing for our bodies from the Arcturians? And if so, how can we go about this? Well, you can ask whether it's Archangel Michael, Raphael, the uh, um, the Arcturians. We can call upon the Syrians who are masters at healing the body. You can ask for assistance. But at the same time, when you ask for physical healing or any form of healing, you know it's going to be a partnership with you. They're not going to come with a magic wand and says, "Here, we fixed that. It's done for you." It's understanding what this healing journey for you is about. So, for example, if you have been struggling over and over like a loop through lungs issues or digestive issues or to your spine, it will be more a partnership to work to say, help me better understand what is it that I am still carrying, what lesson I am not seemingly understanding and resolving. Can I get support in that direction to help to release the distortion that prevents my body from restoring itself to perfect health? In lungs and heart, it's all about a heavy grief, the wounds, the pressure, energy. It's all very deep emotion. So, just an invitation here, just a little hint around here. But you can ask to work with you with your healing, as opposed to expect that an outside source will all do it for you. It it's really more a path of mastery here that we talk about. And I want to go back, thank you, Clara, to Simon, who is, this is for you, Jeff, by the way, because I feel that your answer to Simon's question will also inspire Clara at the same time. So Simon says to you, Jeff, when you were unwell in the hospital, did they, presumably they refer to your Ponti or Mizani group, did they spend a lot of time with you? As your relationship with them changed since their stroke, it never was yours, but is their stroke. When you were out of your body, when you were unwell, did you see them? So Simon is asking about your experience, that phase of your life last year.
Well, I can tell you that during the healing part of when the Zeta came, the real tall Zeta came, I was out of my body. I was with Jerudi and Tani, and they were with me, and they've never left. But this type of problem I had was beyond any type of healing that the Ponte could fix. It had to have been something different. And I mean, they don't have a magic wand. They don't fix everybody all the time with okay, you're healed, right? It don't work that way. Mine was a physical nerve thing that was actually pulled and strained, so it had to be fixed physically more for the most part. Um, but they were there. They still are here. They I asked them to take me with them, and they said, "No, your time isn't ready yet. You have to
Mhm.
stay."
Yep.
And I was kind of disappointed because I'm already here. Let's go. But it isn't like that. So it was an interesting experience. I don't know if I would want to do it again. That was definitely self induced. It was my own stupidity with sugar and everything else. So I was fortunate that they all banded together and helped me because there's no way I would have been able to do it by myself with no paralysis, no loss of memory, and I surely am appreciative of all that stuff. I hope that answers it.
Amazing. Well, I'll tell you what we are grateful and appreciate the most is to have you here. And I knew that during this huge reset you went through, huge, I knew that you were given a window at some point, almost like a soul choice. But at that point, the choice was just momentum, like a moment in time, a fragment in time. So when you asked your group, can I go with you? I knew they said no because I asked them. I
Yeah,
did ask them, and they said, nah, this is just a huge reset that's going to allow you to achieve more, and you have more work, more sharing to do. And here we are back with our podcast, back in your life, and it's going to be just the beginning more and more. So, yes, so I'm grateful to
and the prayers did help. I tell you. I mean, I wasn't a big believer. I will pray for you. Yeah, whatever. Okay, thank you. Right. Okay. But it actually did. It actually did work. When you get all those people that are sending you energy as small as it is, that all adds up and it resonates and it maintains with you. So yeah, the prayers did help a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jeff. That's a very big inspiration. So imagine, believe in the power of what you bring, your intentions. So Michelle is asking a beautiful follow-up question. She said, if we keep ourselves in a state of stillness for a period of long time, would that help activate our third eye? What do you think is that, Jeff?
I
If you
don't think so. I don't know how to activate the third eye. I'm sure that you just cannot. It isn't a switch. It is probably something that has to be practiced all the time, and it might take a year. It might take 6 months. It might take 2 years. But it has to be there has to be some sort of dedication to first figure out what it is, how to activate it, and how to maintain it. Because I'm definitely sure that it is an untapped power source that we're not supposed to use yet. So we're actually going into something that is unusual for our lifespan here, I think.
Thank you for your perspective. We have a different perspective on that.
Of
Your
course we
third
do. Of
eye, of course I do. This
course
is
we
why we
do.
this is our beautiful bond with each other, everyone. Um, your third eye, your ability to see, to be a seer, to have this perspective open is just as natural as your pineal gland is. It is simply has been retracted, repressed, manipulated over time through upbringing, cultural, historical, and name it. So we see it in a way that it's part of the experience. And yes, Michelle, if you keep with discipline, practice, confidence, patience to really constantly maintain yourself in a higher state of vibration. It's not. It's This is beyond and being in stillness. It's more in terms of how you vibrate every day. It's the consistency of your vibration, your frequencies. What is it that you're maintaining the most? Are you where are your thoughts? Where is your emotion? Where is your energy? So you can just simply every day, the simplicity, when you wake up in the morning, I take a deep breath. I set myself for the day. How can I be of service today? And I welcome my third eye. You can just implement a simple technique every day, but it has to be done with consistency. You have to believe in it. You have to also feel that you are in alignment with it, as opposed to say, well, for a week, I was in stillness and still nothing happened. That's what I call a mental approach to spirituality. So, embodying, embrace it, recognize it as a natural part of you, and you'll see you're going to be able to continue expanding it. So, thank you, Michelle. Rachel is sharing with us that she is struggling with a potentially leaving a relationship and leaving a wife, and it's been very confusing, wondering if she should go back. So I'm not sure what you mean by going back to where, um, but I would say when you connect in your heart, Rachel, deeply, whether it's a relationship, a place where you live, a location, a work, a job, whichever choice, whatever pathway it is, feel in your heart, open and ask through the wisdom of your higher self to bring in new perspective. And I just did a class earlier today on higher self, and it was extremely empowering because your higher self is that magnificent part of you that bring in a complete different energetic perspective on everything. And ask yourself with authenticity and honesty within yourself, what is it that makes me linger or hold on to that relationship, that place? What is the truth? Reveal the truth behind me. Allow more to be revealed to you beyond the doubting of the emotion, the attachments, the mental confusion. Clear the pathway. If you feel confused, how can you make an enlightened decision that will serve the highest and the greatest good of all? So come back, bring yourself back into that point of centeredness with great compassion for you. Feel it. And practicing this is the same, makes no different than practicing opening your third eye. Is the same principle. If you're really hasty and then confused and emotionally all intertwined and feel your emotional field is all piling up at 1,000 miles an hour, whether you want to make a decision, an enlightened decision, or opening your third eye, or get clarity what's going on, how can you perceive, possibly receive it in these under these conditions, these energetic conditions? You need to clear the pathway first. This is what we call reset. I reset my mental field, I reset my emotional field, I reset my body, I reset all aspects of myself. Energetic reset, 0 point. I come back to divine neutrality, step outside of that situation, take a deep breath, and now ask through your higher self, reveal more clarity on this. Help me understand what is it that is holding me back. You have to listen, be receptive to it. Would you like to add anything to this, Jeff?
Well, I would only add that the Zetas talk about standing in your energy, and once you can do that, maybe that opens up your third eye. I have no idea, but it is just being one with yourself, being centered and grounded, but two different things. But you have to be both. Make sense?
100%. Very good. Very, very good. There you go. See how much we are together? Jeff and I are so well balanced. As above, so below, and all the above. Thank you. That was awesome. And then awakening based on ski. Anyway, I don't know what the question we're we're getting received right now is how hard or how difficult is it to really interact with the extraterrestrials? Jeff, that one is for you.
How hard is it?
Yep.
Once again, it is about accepting and understanding what is going on. Once you accept what is going on, and now you can understand it, it's easier to understand what is happening. Okay. Um, there is so much good energy around me that I will not let any bad energy at all come towards me. So it's easier for me to accept something unusual, different, a newer type of energy that I can feel, and try to understand what that energy is, and then communication will start after that. But
Mm,
once again, it's about accepting and understanding what is going on, and that's going to be my second paper still.
there you have it. Beautifully. Thank you. Remember, everything is possible, everything is available to you. It is up to you to decide how difficult you want to make it. Communicating with higher consciousness is just connecting from one set of consciousness to the next. It depends on all the barriers you put in it, whether it's filters, fear, mental belief systems, whether it's programming. That's what seemingly make it difficult. But
No,
everything.
and that happens to everybody every night when you dream, because when you dream, there are going to be dreams that you feel like you are up and you've been somewhere. I mean, all of these untapped, unexplainable situations that happen to everybody every night. You just have to categorize it and then understand it and accept it. And it's like, oh, now I get it. I get it. Because everybody has the same abilities. It's just that they just don't understand them.
Hmm. Yeah. And to be ready for it, you have to
Yeah.
be ready, and you have to really trust who you are and really connected to who you are.
I
Absolutely.
mean, these ETs are around us all the time.
Hmm.
Ones from our higher realms, they come in and they go. They come in and they go, and you'll hear people say stuff like that, and you'll just brush off as, "Oh, that guy's crazy."
Hmm.
Yeah, well, maybe, but come to my house for a weekend, right? And then see how crazy I am. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of which, our guest coming up on Sunday, April 28th, regular time, we'll go back to our regular time, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. David Wallace, you talk about how difficult it is to connect. David will connect and let Kimji to come through to communicate with us. Beautiful being from the Taurus constellation. David is an ambassador now for the Taurus constellation and the Scientific World Association, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
So we'll explore even more on the 28th, just to
Yeah,
give
more
that
evidence of
energy.
that stuff. Yeah,
What's that?
so I said the more people that come forth with evidence of that stuff, even uh, other people that we talk to. Tom Dongo is another good one that has interactions and stuff, and we talk about the same stuff, and it just it's there's a commonality with that, so it isn't going to happen to somebody different. It's just going to happen to different people the same way, and you just have to understand what is going on. That's all.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that for all of us. Thank you. That was awesome. So quickly, on a personal note, Eileen is asking me if I have the Trinity Eating Arts program running right now. We just finished it on April 4th. We're almost done with the digital package of the entire 3 months program. And once the digital package is ready, I'm going to post it on my website. And this way, for those who wants to purchase the package and go through the program, you're gonna be more than welcome. I have a lot of upcoming trip this year. I'm going to be traveling from one sphere of the planet to the other again. So my goal is to hopefully to bring it maybe at the end of fall, but absolutely for 2025. But the program, the digital program is coming, and you're asking if the holographic group healing membership through my online community, it does have a lot of benefits, including Zoom meeting with the members today. We just did the global initiative Zoom meeting for members only. It's all aspect, and I'm feeling intuitively, Aline, that the Octrine holographic group healing membership will be the perfect one for you. And you have access to so much. I'm gonna post right now the link to the my community. You can go check it out, Eileen, or anyone who would like. So thank you for asking. And Tanya, you asking, why would a clear quartz crystal just break into two parts while in the palms of my hands? Pretty much left me in awe. So imagine having a crystal, maybe not as big, but regardless, and then the crystal just break into portion in your hands. What would you say, Jeff, may cause that for a clear quartz to do that?
Well, clear quartz, obviously they oscillate all the time, so there's energy being put forth for that crystal, and something with her energy also counteracted that and split it. Now I don't know if it was cracked prior. I have no idea.
Okay. Well, you have to think about crystals are powerful archives. They contain such a level of vibration and they contain a lot of information encoded. This is why crystals, whether it's a Lemurian and Atlantean one, whether it's a rose quartz, whether it's a smoky quartz, whichever it is, a laboratory, any one of these crystals, but especially clear quartz, they're very high, powerful conduit. And so if you connect and you have, I'll use a small one. Let's say this is your clear quartz, right? And you have it in the palms of your hand like this. For the crystal to separate or break into two portions, you have to think about what were you doing? What was
Hmm.
the intention behind you holding this crystal in the palms of your hand? Now you have to know that there you have chakra system or what I call energetic portal within the palms of your hands. And these energetic portals, there's oftentimes too much unused, by the way. You have the ability to channel in and to bring in really powerful frequencies. So combined with a clear quartz, depending how focused you were or what was the energy at the time flowing through you, it is pretty amazing to see a clear quartz breaking this way.
Hmm.
So I would recommend take the two pieces back in your hands, reconnect, remember what took place that day, and ask, show me the meaning. What are you teaching me? It can be your own faculties. It can be something that's just open up for you. It can be a lot, but just ask in that way. Okay, that would be my answer. A quick question from Nelly: is the concept of time have been impacted by the acceleration of ascension, especially since the solar eclipse? I would say yes, the solar eclipse has simply generated another wave of acceleration that will allow all of us to step outside of the linear time construct. We are moving, we're shifting out of the linear perspective that human beings have, and you're starting to be more universal. You're starting to realign yourself on a more universal level, and you're starting to understand that there's no such thing as linear time. It is just an illusion put in place in this reality. And as many more people globally awaken to the higher level of their nature, who they are, awaken more in consciousness, well, these linear concepts start to fade away and you start to realign yourself on a more cosmic level. So time will be perceived, experienced on a very different level. It's just an old program that we are releasing more and more. Any thoughts on time for you, Jeff?
No, I'll stick with what you say.
Okay. Yes. So remember that everything is shifting. Everything is expanding in a whole different level. So the way you manifest your thought, the flux of time, perception of time, your connections with your abilities that makes crystal maybe vibrate or sparkles in a different ways, your ability to utilize your internal multisensory points that start to ignite new reality, whether it's your third eye, whether it's your heart chakra, whether it's your solar plexus. You have to understand that everything is deeply interconnected. So, yes, you can ask different questions. It's all related to the same field. You are evolving. That means all aspects of you evolve. Even your physical body is evolving. And if an aspect of you or a fragment of you is stuck in an old reality paradigm, well, it will create distortion in your field, in your body, health wise, digestion wise, your sleep pattern, your perception of time, everything. So we are given an opportunity to clear the pathway and heal the old wounds, so to speak, so we can open the field and start to align ourselves. Because I see different questions, but it's all interconnected. Anything you'd like to add in that regards?
No, no, ma'am. You did it.
I did it. Yay. Ah, let's see here. Well, Anya from Germany, I'm glad that you fell asleep, you had a moment, you were thinking about the questions, and at the moment when you woke up, you can hear me answering that question about twin flame. Wow, this is
That's cool.
wonderful. Isn't that awesome, Jeff? Wonderful synchronicity. Much love to you from us to you in Germany. Ah, see, perfect. Um, okay. If you want to know more about our membership that I offer, please go directly to our beautiful website. I'm going to show it to you on the screen. This is a direct link to my online community called the Universal Octrine Community. All the membership are listed there in the description. If you feel it, use your intuition, and we invite you to look at it at your own pace after this beautiful time together with Jeff and I. Thank you so much for asking. I appreciate all of you deeply. Lisa, one more question. Lisa is asking, does the Earth gravity contribute to high vibrating beings like the Arcturians having a hard time being on the planet? What would you say about this, Jeff?
um, I don't, in my opinion, I don't think that the gravity has anything to do with that. It is just the way that the 3D realm is put together, the construct for that. That's what makes the higher ETs difficult here. It's got nothing to do with gravity. Gravity is a fiction-based ordeal that has got nothing to do with pressure to live here. Gravity does not make people get older either.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Jeff. Well, I'm going to give you an example. If you want to go swim deeply with the dolphins, we can all relate to that. Feel the beautiful Caribbean, ocean energy, and then we want to be in the water and we want to swim with the dolphins. And just hold this image for a moment. It feels so soothing and joyful and playful. But the dolphin are really, how could I say that? Their physical body and their physiology is well adapted to go deep in the ocean, in and out, hold their breath, coming back again, swim. They're in sync with the ecosystem. Your physical form is not. So vibrationally, it will create a discrepancy. So if you're a very skilled swimmer, you may swim a little bit longer with them or hold your breath a little bit longer. But if you're not, then you're going to need some support to float or to bring you back to the surface so you can bring more oxygen to your lungs, right? Or I'm taking an example on the physical level. Now imagine a very high vibrational being whose physical form is a little bit more ethereal than the one you have right now because the frequency is much higher and faster pace. Imagining condensing that frequency into a box that you call the third frequency, the third density. Will you say that it will be challenging to sustain that? Yes. Same thing that it will be impossible for you naturally to follow the dolphins in their swims unless you have the proper equipment. So, just an image I want to give you just to illustrate what kind of challenges, if you go to another planet that is simply vibrating a different space than you, that is slower and denser, and you are this really high vibrational being, there's a misalignment in the vibration and the frequencies. So, yeah, it's going to make it more challenging. However, this is why we send and we project our holographic light body. It is just as present. You can see us, you can interact with us, but we don't have to be physically on the planet. That's the beauty of it, right?
Same thing with the Mizani. The same premise with the Mizani. The
Yes,
Ponte.
exactly. So we understand that our time together has been so very fast. And once again, we're going to be back at a regular time on Sunday, April 28th at 11 a.m. Pacific, which is 2 p.m. Eastern Time, with David Wallace with Kimji. Get to know Kimji. He's a magnificent being of great wisdom and love. And we're going to take a deep dive with David. It's going to be absolutely magnificent. And so remember, that whatever questions you have, whether it's a symbol come to me, an experience came to me, or what does it mean to, you know, having vision of the future? What does it mean if I see light? What does it mean is allow yourself to understand what is this vision given to me? So whatever experience is given to you is meant for you. And so ask, I am grateful for the gift of this vision, this presence, this confirmation, a sensation, whether it's a geometric light patterns. I'm grateful for the gift. Now I'm going to allow to let the language of that gift to be in sync with me. And that would be also a loving recommendation to allow yourself to expand that way. Um, and being able to let the energy flow. What it means is that we were going to do this special Q&A, ask us anything positive. Again, you'll have a chance to ask us more questions. And in the meantime, feel your vibration expanding. Know that every soul on the planet is on its own divine journey, even though we go through mental issues or physical issues, or seems to be a different state of conscious energy than you. Remember, all of us, we are soul, divine being of light. It is really is. And Kimji is looking forward to speaking publicly. Here's our friend, David, coming on the 28th of April. Come to join us. It's going to be magnificent. Jeff, it's so good to see you back on your feet. It's always a joy to be with you, my friend.
Wonderful to be here.
Thank you for all of your wisdom, your perspective, your reflection in the presence of the Mizani, right? Or Mizini.
Mizani. Yeah, they don't care.
Mizini
Yeah.
/ Ponte, and of course of all of us. Remember that we're part of a very beautiful, intelligent universe that constantly evolve and speak to you as you speak to the universe. There's no separation. There's no difference. It's simply we're rediscovering the possibility and the potential and even beyond. Much, much love to you. We are grateful for all of you, grateful for your perspective, grateful for your wisdom. Jeff, can't wait to see you again and join us here on the Infinite Star Connections, Sunday, April 28th with David Wallace.
That's going to be a good one.
It's going to be an awesome one. So greetings to you as well. Stay in your light. No fear, everyone. Just light. Namaste.